Welcome everyone to our podcast, Raw Shit, with myself, the Dictator, IFBB Pro, John Lofthouse. We have our amazing friend and guest, Sammy William. Is it Williams or William?
Williams, mate.
Williams. Yes. Sorry for getting it wrong.
No, you are.
Today we're gonna we're rolling. We don't know what we're gonna talk about, but because we are very passionate about this, about bodybuilding generally, it's gonna be quite interesting to reach a few topics.
I just broke my chair. I'm not even kidding.
You're getting too heavy.
I just broke it.
It's not a chair.
I just bent it. Wait. Fucking scared the shit out of me, that did. Alright.
So, listen, I have to say something to Sam.
Wait.
I criticized him for
Stay
not.
there. I've got another chair. Keep talking.
I criticized John for his lack of eating, and I think he started eating and just broke his chair.
I've been. It's one thing being his training partner. I've been constantly trying to get him to eat in off season. It's his main problem. You know, even when we was dialing him in for the competitions for the two recent ones, Crawley and then the final.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to come in real slow, and I think it sort of came down the grapevine. One of John's main competitors in the Crawley show, Rhino, he was on like 2 hours of cardio and 0 carb, and John was still on a hefty amount of carbs and only doing about 20 minutes a day. So,
yeah.
Right.
That's something to people out there that try and copy.
No, but it was it was off topic, of course, because of the chair and everything. But I see John's going to start stepping up his game with the eating.
Yeah, I have stepped my game up, man. I've been eating my ass off. James has been on me about eating.
Okay, now speaking about James here. Okay, James Llewellyn is your current coach, right?
Yes, indeed.
And who coached you before that?
Luke, the only coach I've had before that, I'll go through my coaching since 2016. So since 2016, I've had what?
The chronology of your coaches.
Yeah, that's it. The chronology. So I had Luke as my first coach in 2016 for my first show, and in my second show as well. Mm-hmm. Then I had 2017. I was with Sean Panther, who's one of the judges of UKBFF. I was only 2 years into bodybuilding. I didn't know all the fucking politics and that at the time. I just, like him. See, I just got talking to him, and he just seemed like he knew his shit more than what I did. So I went with him, and that was the year that I won the British. And then I was like, oh, everybody thinks I've won the British because I'm with Sean. So I was like, well, I'll just have to make sure I win the next British. Yeah. Which we did.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When I did this, it's not about him. He's okay with me, and I like him a lot. He's okay. He's a cool guy. It's the whole picture of the you have to train at Panthers and be a Panthers boy for you to be able to win. And it was annoying because I went through it myself before. But
you know what? Looking back, I've looked at competitors who were coached by them, and I won't lie, there's an argument for it. I'll say that. Yeah. But that said, and I was a part of that argument, and that's why I was so freaking
if you can back it up,
to make sure I won my next shows, and I did. So I proved to everybody that it wasn't nothing to do with that.
It's one of these things. Sammy, you'd probably agree with me on this. If we had in the 212 last year, this is just an example. Yeah. If we had is it Derek
Lunsford,
and Kamal, and then Kamal was sponsored by BPI, which are not really amazing at the Olympia. And for example, we had Derek sponsored by Opti Nutrition, and then we see the physiques and we think Kamal's winning by a mile. and then Derek wins just because of his sponsorship, that means, it's fine. But then if it's the other way around, and Kamal can back it up with his physique, then we can't say anything. This is what happened with you. I'm sure you stood on stage and you did actually stand out with everyone else. So if you can back it up, then why not?
Do you think that similar sort of thing? I mean, I'm not saying it is. This is just for spitting whatever.
Please be controversial. I don't mind.
JP sponsoring a lot of the Two Bro shows and that. Okay. So I wondered if the same sort of thing was going to transpire. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
Did anyone win from JP's guys?
No, I beat them all.
Not this time, but he's sponsoring more shows next year, isn't he? But it's supposed to be this year.
Yeah.
But he's sponsoring more shows. I just wonder how that's going to play out for.
Well, if he's gonna produce good athletes, then welcome. But if it's gonna be another, I mean, look,
you know what?
Do you remember, guys?
Go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say 9 times out of 10, when I've seen like bodybuilding shows and stuff, I don't see it as much. I used to see a lot of it in like men's physique and stuff in UK BFF, like guys who are because the criteria is like, you know what I mean? It's a bit more like apples and oranges. Like you got a lot of good guys up there.
Yeah,
like
of course.
on the bodybuilding stage, it's a bit more obvious, especially
you can be more subjective.
Who the winner is. Whereas in physique, it's like the criteria is a bit like, what do we want? So
yeah, I know. More glamorous.
Yeah. So like, I saw a bit more in men's physique and bikini and stuff like that than I did in bodybuilding.
You think?
Your way of saying, "Oh, well, you've just got that right look."
Yeah. Exactly.
Bodybuilding.
Yeah.
In relation to what you're saying, especially Sammy, you're saying about JP sponsoring new shows, the new shows coming. We had the 10X company that was all over the Two Bros, which I wasn't sure what the hell was going on, because it was a name without any products.
I didn't get what it was.
I had no idea what it was. I mean, there were no products, nothing.
He spoke to us, didn't he, when we went to that first show, Sam? And he was like, he like offered me a spot to jump on board with him, but I was like, "But what?" I was like, "I'm not being rude, bro." I was like, "But what are you?" I didn't know what it was. He said that he helped athletes get sponsored.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I don't."
That doesn't help. That doesn't help.
I didn't know enough about it. I have seen them do some supplements and stuff. What?
But
I did that on my.
yeah. Sammy done that for me.
Yeah, but what I was saying is that we seen the 10X guys. I mean, I'm not sure if it's the 10X guys winning or every winner gets a sponsorship by them. So I wasn't sure what's going on.
I think it's the people winning.
Not even every winner. There's loads of guys that John beat that are now 10X athletes.
Yeah. But I think it's more if people are winning, he's approaching them guys, which is fair enough. You're going to approach the winners, isn't it?
Exactly. So to our listeners, if you're listening to this, just let us know what's happening underneath there. Write something for us, because we have no idea what's happening here. It's nice to know. I'm not really interested, but it's just intrigued more like. What was I was mentioning something about sponsorships here. I know from the previous episodes that Sammy was the one who got you into your sponsorship, right? Sammy
opened the door.
Right.
Sammy laid the carpet, and then I walked through.
Fantastic. So, Sammy, how did that happen?
Huh?
Well, I mean, everyone's got their favourite current physiques in the classic era. Mine has always been Courage O'Para. I think if he gets his conditioning now, then he could really do damage in the classic physique. I mean, he came third, I think, 2 years ago at the Arnold. So he's no slouch, but he just really struggles with conditioning. I think he's got that like rhino skin that's like quite hard to dial in. And he's an old school labs athlete. They posted a picture of him, and I basically said, that's my current second favourite physique in the IFBB Pro ranks. To which the guy that owns it messaged me back, and he said, we're interested to know who you think's number one. And I just put at John Lofthouse. And he was like, "Oh wow!" I was like, "You're trying to promote a classic brand." I was like, "And you've got someone over here that eats, sleeps, and breathes classic." So you have, you know, that's what I think a lot of sponsorships are not, and what Redcon One seems to do really well. Redcon One really knows how to market their athletes, and I think more companies that are trying to promote need to look at Redcon One and what they're doing. If you're trying to promote a certain brand, promote it in the right way. You know, I mean, all of their brand supplements have like army names, Total War,
of course,
and Grunt, and all. So they get Cedric McMillan, who's a soldier.
Yeah,
you know, it makes sense. They get
it does make sense. Yeah,
and hardcore as fuck. They get Hollinshead as well. You know, they get these real gritty guys
People
that
that
train
fit the
hard
bill.
and yeah. So if you're old school labs, you need John Lofthouse. You know.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
I mean, to be fair, they had Breon, so they were going in the right direction. They got SAMMY and Tom Platz as ambassadors.
Breon's with HD Muscle now, isn't he?
With me.
Yeah. They reached out.
I'm still blocked. I'm still blocked on his Instagram.
Yeah, I am as well. He blocks every single classic physique athlete that he comes across. He said it, didn't he, Sammy?
Yeah, he said it. He blocks everyone, so he doesn't want to see anyone.
Yeah, he every single athlete that he comes across on Instagram that's classic physique, he blocks.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. I'm the opposite. I like looking at my competition because I like seeing how far behind they are.
I just like to embrace nice physiques, you know? I'm sorry to say that. It's no homo, but I like to look at good physiques and I like to spot talent, and that's why I love this industry.
You can ask John, because I've always seen myself as quite a good talent spotter. And way before there was any waves about Keon Pearson, did I not sit in Stackhouse and say, this guy's going to be huge?
Yeah.
Straight away. And he was, at the time, no one was even really talking about him. But
I mean, Keon can, if he brings up his physique as in more size, he could actually win the 212 hands down.
I think a lot of people are, what do you think on his move to 212? Because a lot of people were sort of hating on it. I think he could do the 212 justice, because with Flex Lewis now moving away, I thought Flex was the only aesthetic guy really in the 212 seems to have a lot of blocky physiques.
Yeah,
it's known for. There's not real good structure in there,
mm-hmm.
And I think with Flex Lewis moving out, they've got Derek Lunsford. He's got a good frame, but other than that, there's not really too many bright shining stuff.
The ball.
I don't like George's flow. I've got to be honest.
No, I don't like his physique.
It's better than some of the guys in the 212 now.
But the guy carries enough muscle on him to win shows. You know, it's very simple.
This is it. But I mean, with the exit of Flex Lewis, once Derek Lunsford dials in, you might have another Flex Lewis procession where someone just takes the crown year after year. Because I don't really see anyone challenging Derek if he gets his condition right. But now you've got Keon coming up, I could see Keon actually challenging.
I mean, no disrespect to Kamal, because obviously he's the current Mr. Olympia at the moment. But I think where I disagree with Sammy just a little bit is that we cannot look at Flex Lewis now, because Flex Lewis is gone. The current Mr. Olympia right now is Kamal, and everyone has to chase Kamal's look and not Flex's look. So Derek has to bring the conditioning with less size.
It's not Kamal's look. It's just his condition.
That's what it
Derek's,
is. I mean,
Derek's look is the look, you know.
I mean, Derek left the door open. I mean, he just put the nail in the coffin the next day. So it wasn't something like. Sorry, say that again. I couldn't hear you.
I think Derek would be a good ambassador as well. He speaks well. He seems like a real polite, humble guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He sat on the Olympia stage and he was just talking like he was just grateful to be there. I love seeing that, you know.
I mean, I think Flex Lewis now has to be. I mean, I can see him now being in such a position that is so awkward, because he needs to help the guys in the 212 come up to keep the 212 going, and at the same time he has to focus on himself to get into the open class. So he's not in a very good position at the moment, if you know what I mean. Like it's hard, right?
No, right? Have you seen his his progress pictures that he's posted up.
I've seen a few.
He looks so big, so fucking big.
Wow.
And I mean, when me and John met him before, he looked massive then. So to add size to that, I don't know what he would look like up close. Flex, insane.
John, do you think it's going to affect his midsection and his gut, and trying to put on more size at that height? You have to think about it. Sometimes when you get to that height with those aesthetics, putting on more size, muscular size, it's going to affect the way you look generally.
Don't know, man. I think he's been training for a long, long time, I think if he wants to put his mind to it and put more muscle on the frame without trying to excessively push food and stuff like that, I think he could do it.
He's one of these guys that progresses, isn't he?
You what?
He's one of these guys that progresses smart.
Yeah.
He never said Flex really put size on and blow his midsection out. The beautiful thing with Flex as well is where he's so short, he's known for his legs and his calves, but then he's got these insane arms and forearms.
Insane back.
Yeah. Insane everything.
He's got everything. That's why he's missed 7 times. He's complete head to toe. His only problem in the open class is that he's just smaller. Although he's massive, he's smaller. He's a smaller version of some of the other bigger guys.
Yeah, but listen, Hadi is short. So
yeah.
And I think he could put Hadi in his mirror,
Yeah, I think he would put Hardy in his mirror, but you're saying, but Hardy didn't. What did he get? 3rd.
Well, I think for me personally, I think he won.
where did he get though? 3rd?
3rd, yeah.
Yeah. Well, with Phil Heath not in it, who looks like he's going to be competing this year.
It looks like it. Yeah.
And with Rami not in it, with Raleigh off.
Very off, yeah.
And Sean Roden not in it. So where does that put him then?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Huh?
What about Kai? Because he's posted some progress.
Fuck off.
No, Kai is hard to say.
You see the posting?
He ain't doing it.
He posted some posing pictures.
Yeah, but he ain't doing it.
He's a teaser. He's done that a few years in a row, and we'd like to see Kai.
He hasn't competed in. It must be 4 or 5 years.
Exactly. And for him to actually stand on stage now, what will let him really down is probably his stamina being on stage. Because I've been away from...
I bet he's good with that.
Yeah.
I bet he's good. I bet he still practices like he's a pro.
He's a consummate professional.
I don't know. What about his skin quality being away from the stage for that long?
The pictures that he put up, like Sammy said, he did look absolute bollocks. I just don't think he's going to do it.
Still got the best possible training in bodybuilding.
It would be awesome if he did, but fucking hell, like.
For me, I'm a huge Kai fan. I would sit down here and probably analyze every single show he's done since the beginning. I've followed him since. The
annoying thing is that really pisses me off, sorry to interrupt, is that everybody always talks about, the 90s. 90s is the best lineup. 90s was the best lineup. If Kaya came on stage and Phil was on stage and Sean was on stage, Flex Lewis was on stage, you got Rami, Roy, this would be the best. This would be the best lineup. Not necessarily my favourite physiques, because I do prefer the 90s, but I think the lineup would be crazy.
No, the 2008, with 2008 Dexter in the mix, it'll be very hard for the 90s guys to even catch up. It's the conditioning, man. They have conditioning and fullness, but not extreme lines like the 90s, because the eating habits were completely different. We have sugars pre-workout, post-workout. The supplements have changed. Those guys never had it in the 90s. But in the 90s, you hardly see someone with complete shredded glutes, and there are, but it was not a criteria. Nowadays, you don't have glutes, you're out.
I think Classic in another 5 years, maybe if they give us another £5, I think Classic will be the division where you'll start to see some of those guys who looked like the 90s.
Yeah.
Maybe another £5 would be nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that. Just another £5. Just another £5.
Hard to say.
5K.
So if Sammy, I have a question for you here. If you wanted to bring another division, How did that sound to you?
Break it.
Yeah, imagine you were the head of the IFBB Pro League now, for instance.
Yeah.
And you wanted to bring a new division.
What, for the men? Yeah.
For men's, what would you do or change? It's hard to say, isn't it?
I don't know. That's interesting. I think they've got all the divisions are pretty good. I mean, open class 212 for the smaller, bigger guy, the classic, and then men's physique. What could you do other than, unless
men's model?
Yeah, men's swim.
Oh, please don't.
Men's swimwear.
What the one they do in India where they wear the jean shorts? I think we should bring that in.
Oh my God. They wear denims. No, they wear denims and just an upper body that is tanned up, and their denims are full of tan because they use Dream Tan, and it just melts over it from the heat.
That's a good one. Maybe they could do like a drag division.
Transgender bodybuilding.
And you could get RuPaul to do the judging. What do you reckon on that? We judged on statins.
Is there a disabled division in the Olympia now?
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there is. Oh, that's cool.
Yes. Listen, if you had this in mind, you're a genius. Because if you didn't know that it was there and you actually thought into it, that means well done for actually thinking about it, because no one would even think about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't. Well, I just know I see a lot of jacked motherfuckers in wheelchairs on Instagram, and I think they should have a shot. You know?
Yeah, they let Flex Wheeler hand the trophy out this year, didn't they?
Did they? I literally hand on heart didn't know. I didn't know that.
Do you think Flex should train and do one?
Huh?
You think Flex Wheeler?
Fuck yeah!
Well, it don't detriment his health again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his kidney, for crying out loud. You know, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Mm.
And forget the legs. You know, the legs is something different now. He's on a wheelchair now, so it's,
he don't want to be eating 5-6 meals a day now. Fuck that.
How old is he?
50 odd, must be.
Yeah, it's
about 50.
Too hard.
Lavroni's 54. I saw a picture of him the other day. Fuck! That motherfucker doesn't age. Up top, at least. You know, he's got chest, delts, and triceps for life. That motherfucker's going to look like that when he's 70.
Well, he reckons, because I spoke to him when he was at the Muscle Works.
Came over, didn't he? Watched him.
That was the last time I actually saw Luke. And I spoke to him then. And he said now that his legs would be better than when he was at the Olympia, because all of the PRP in that wasn't finished. So, you know, he's under the assumption his legs would be better.
Yeah. He should do the Masters.
I think he'd win it.
Oh, yeah.
Of course he'd win.
It's so amazing. I love that. I actually weren't too long ago when I was prepping before this shit started. Kevin Levrone was like a real big mindset trigger for me. Anytime I was on the cardio, I was listening to Kevin Levrone and watching his videos and that. And one video that always comes up is a Machiavelli motivation one, and where he does the most muscular with Cedric and Josh Lamar. And I still look at it and I'm like, motherfucker. How?
I reckon actually in this pose he got both of them in conditioning. He was just too flat.
Yeah, I think so.
His shape beats them both as well.
Yeah.
Mad when you beat him, like you said, isn't it, Sam? He's not actually not that big.
No. When
in stature, he's not a big guy. Just crazy shape.
I've got pictures of me and Kevin, and when we're standing next to each other, you wouldn't think that there's too much between us. But obviously, when he took his top off, there'd be like night and day.
Exactly.
But we got one thing I noticed. I've got small wrists, and we got the same size hands and wrists when I shook his hand. And I've always thought that
you thought it'd be like Goliath grip.
I thought, because if you ever saw Luke up close, Luke's wrists were like that, and his fucking hands were like that. You know, he was big.
Yeah.
So when you see these mass monsters, you'll tend to think that they're going to be like that, but they're not. These 90s guys were smaller jointed and smaller boned. I think it is the thing to be a mass monster. I think you need big joints, big hands, and that, just so that your frame has the potential to grow on it.
Cutler,
Jay.
I want to eat Cutler.
Is a limiting factor to whether you fit the criteria to be a mass monster or not. I think personally.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, because if you look at them, it's Jay, it's Evan Centopani, even Fuad Abiad is one of them too.
Mm.
He's not one of them. Even as a model, when he was doing modeling, when he was much younger and he was still like a men's physique boy, look like. He was still chunky, So I agree to a certain extent here. But guys, did you feel like a mixture of feelings? Like you've got mixed feeling about when Kevin wanted to make a comeback. It's like I want him to compete because exciting, but at the same time I don't want him to lose and look like a mug. But obviously he wasn't a mug. It was just Kevin LeBron, man. But I had mixed feelings about that. What about you guys?
Do you know the weird thing is this isn't what John's always said. This you can't really judge a physique by Instagram pictures, because people look amazing on Instagram. And looking at Kevin on Instagram, I was literally going around like, man, he could win this.
I'm the same.
And then when he was on the stage, you got to say what is. He was not even in the same.
Because we didn't see his legs.
Yeah, he only shows you what he wants you to show. But everybody does. Like I've got. All right, they're coming up, but shit calves. Let's have it right. I ain't posting pictures of my calves on Instagram, am I? Because that ain't getting no likes. People are only going to show you what they want to show.
Yeah. Calves don't win you shows, do they? So you've got a whole different package, but you don't want to bring everything up because
they're coming up. You can't read. No, they look small still, don't they?
But all that Sunday league shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I learned that though, like what Sammy was saying about, you can't judge people on Instagram, just through myself constantly looking at people on Instagram during shows and stuff like that. And then I'd be looking at all these guys like, man, I'm never going to beat this guy. I'm never going to beat this guy. And then I'd get on stage and do well against them. And I'd be like, oh, all right. So then from that point on, I just never looked at Instagram. Or didn't give it, I'll look, but I don't give it any emotion.
You remember when we went to Body Power, way before John was a pro? And there was that Christian Guzman. He's the guy that owns, what's the brand called? Something.
Alpha League.
Wolf.
Alpha League?
Alpha League, that's it. They have the wolf picture.
Yeah.
And you get Christian Guzman on YouTube or Instagram and that. The guy looks jacked. Me and John walked past him and he looked so small compared to us. We were like, does he even train?
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, just looked like nothing.
I stood next to that Andre guy, the guy who does men's physique.
Yeah.
Ferguson.
No, not Andres. He's Romanian, I think. He trains with Hani Rambod right now.
Andre Rue.
Yeah, so I look at his pictures and Instagram, and they pop up everywhere. They're Machiavelli everywhere, and I'm thinking like, this guy's huge. I saw him at the Kent Classic a few years back, and I said, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna go stand next to him. I stood next to him, and I'm like double the size of him. I'm looking like, now I know. Now I know all this bullshit from pictures being filtered and shit.
Ulysses, he's not a big guy. He's tiny.
No, he's very tiny. Very,
Simeon Panda, he's not all those fucking sick show. He's not that big. None of them are that
I don't
big.
like Simeon Panda's physique. He's got long arms. He doesn't do it for me.
His waist is too small as well. I know that shouldn't be a thing, but it is.
Yeah. I don't even know why I brought him up. He's not even a bodybuilder.
No.
Yeah. But I have a thing here that is probably going to raise a lot of discussion. There's a rumor, about John Lofthouse.
What? I know rumors.
Yes. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll tell you what the question was. What's that?
He looks nervous.
No,
he's sweating.
I am sweating, but only because it's about fucking 20 odd degrees outside.
Wow.
Which is a lot for us people in the UK, for any foreigners listening.
So, all right, listen to this. Who prepped you when you got your pro card?
me and Luke and Sam.
Okay. All right.
That's a fair answer, isn't it, Sam?
All right. Because the rumor was, or the rumor is, that Luke prepped you.
Yeah.
And you never mentioned anything on your Instagram that Luke was your coach when you got your pro card.
Yeah, I did multiple times, and I messaged Luke. This is the thing with me and Luke where it was so weird. I messaged Luke multiple times. If I didn't, I don't even fucking know, to be honest. I can't remember that far back on my Instagram. If I didn't put anything on my Instagram, it was because the day, Sam can back me on this, the day that I won my pro card, one of the first people that I messaged, to thank and to, say like, look, bro, got my pro card, was Luke. And then he never replied.
Okay. So obviously the guy isn't here for us.
Yeah, I'm not going to badmouth him. Look, I'd say it to his face if he was here. I'm not badmouthing him. I think Luke was
not at all.
But he never replied to me. He never replied to me. I kept trying to speak to him, but he just didn't. Luke was like that, though. Yeah. Wasn't he? And I did tag him on photos and stuff.
Yeah.
I did, I worked by myself and Sammy as my eye up until 2 weeks out of the British qualifier, and then asked for Luke's help. Pardon?
Well, it was 1 week out.
Well, look, this is the story. I'm not going to bullshit, and I'm not bad mouthing Luke because Luke really helped me out. But I asked for his help 2 weeks out, and he didn't ask for no money, granted, but he offered to help me, which he did. So we sent photos to him, but then he didn't get back to me after the first lot of pictures. 9 days after I sent them, and when it was like a week out.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking hell. But then he got back to me and we done well, and the rest is history anyway. I won the show, we done well. And then he was awesome all the way through. He was wicked, And then, but then he just never replied to me. I thought it was weird that I would reply to him and send him a picture of the pro cards, all that shit. And he didn't reply. Oh, no, he did. He said, good man. Good man. And then I said, thanks for your help, blah, 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 and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then, and he never got back to me.
The thing is, as well, you've got to remember, me and John have known Luke since before he was this superstar. John was actually his training partner, and I used to train with Ben.
Yeah.
And what happened was me and John sort of found more of a common bond, as did Ben and Luke. We basically
look. I've gone back on my. Sorry, Sam. I've gone back on my post. Thanks, Luke Sandow. It says, thanks to big Luke Sandow for taking me through the last 6 weeks, which is what he did, of my prep and helping me achieve a huge goal of mine.
Well, whoever spread that rumor, this is in your face, motherfuckers.
Yeah, there you go. It's on my Instagram. And I think I tagged him in some other stuff as well, if you go down.
So now we know the story. It's nice that we have a platform to answer this shit. Very happy. There's another rumor.
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
There's another rumor.
So throw it at me.
It was towards Sammy, actually.
Do it.
Go on.
Sammy was supposed to compete this year, right?
Yep.
So tell me about it, and I'll tell you what the rumor is.
Well,
I like this.
What do you want to know about it?
I like rumors because I'm not scared about telling the truth about anything.
Exactly, but like, tell me what was the prep like? How did it plan out? And
so basically, we planned it for May the 3rd.
Something like that. I can't remember the dates now. Yeah, May, early May.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, and it was going really well. I was prepping myself because no reason, no like being against coaching or coaches or anything like that. I've just always seen bodybuilding as a personal journey. And to me, it was like, I want to see if, I should know my own body by now. I'm 35 years old and I've been doing this shit since I was 16. So I should know my own body right now. So I started prepping myself. It was going smooth, but obviously it's my first prep and I'm doing it myself. So I wasn't coming in quite the speed that I anticipated. So I did push the show back. But yeah, up until coronavirus, it was going really well.
So the rumor was right.
What's the rumor?
He was scared of coronavirus to beat him on stage.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, that is so bad. Oh, that is so bad.
I just got his blood pressure up to like. No, I was just.
No, you
kidding.
didn't.
No, listen. No. Listen, there was no rumor. I was just kidding with you, but I remember because you had a different date set up, and you moved it to another date.
Pushed it back, innit?
Yeah. So you pushed it a bit more, and I wasn't. I can't see this.
I do not have coronavirus.
What's that? Your phone's all like got a rainbow effect on it.
Yeah, I got worried for a bit.
This is my job. I had to go and get the test done.
Oh,
all right. But no. This was a joke. This was a joke. I was actually going to ask because you had a date set up for like a certain show, and then one of a sudden I got a message from you. If you remember, I was in Morocco back then, and you said I'm pushing it another few weeks. I'm not sure how many weeks it was.
Back to the July. I think that was the next one, wasn't it?
It almost coincided with what show John was going to do, so we was going to end up prepping together.
Yeah.
Because by the time, obviously, John stayed really lean. By the time I'd dieted for 11 weeks, I was actually sitting at John's off season.
Okay.
Which sounds fat, but it's not. You know, if you know him, that's still pretty lean. John in his off season is leaner than some people when they're dieted.
Yeah.
So we're just going to start prepping together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what show was that going to be?
Two Bros.
Okay.
That was going to be what one was it, babe?
July show, wasn't it?
July show. That was that one that's supposed to be like.
You're gonna roll onto it next year now.
Yeah. Still doing.
Did it affect you mentally, like having to be on a prep mode, and one of a sudden you just had to go?
Well in the zone, weren't you?
Yeah, because what it was, obviously, with the corona thing, you was watching it on the news and whatever, and there was a lot of uncertainty how much it was going to affect the UK. So me and my girlfriend Marie, she was prepping with me. So for quite a while, we were still prepping at home, and was doing all of our meals, doing our cardio, still hitting our training for quite a while, and until obviously then lockdown was enforced, and it was like, fuck. So we've just been sort of like relaxing the diet now, just enjoying life.
Right, because you know what happens, you know, when you're in full 6 gear, getting ready for a show, and then your hormones are all over the place. Your emotions are all over the place, and you get to a stage and you think, okay, I just started to adapt, and then one of a sudden you get, circumstances. Anything could happen, But we had the coronavirus and the quarantine, and obviously canceling shows. You do realize that a lot of people actually got affected mentally, quite a lot. It sent people to the other way.
I can see it coming a mile away because it's what I do for a job. I've done it for 17 years. Mental health and learning disabilities I've done for 17 years now. So I'm well versed in it, That's why when I went through my own mental health problems, was last year, I had a really, really bad time last year. It was something that me and John planned to talk about on SJTV, but we never really got round to it. And not many people know I was really bad. I actually was isolating myself last year for a good 2-3 weeks. I was off work, signed off with depression, and I was on propranolol and something else as well. Yeah, it was bad. I was a mess. 1 minute I was crying.
You was in a bad way.
So Sammy, the mic's all yours. So talk us through it. How did you get over it? How do you overcome the situation?
No, I mean, I love the enthusiasm that you see online where people say about, just talk to someone and that. But even in Luke's case, you can see it's not always as easy as that. When you're in it, when you're in that frame of mind, sometimes you want to talk to someone, but you know 110% that it's not going to change anything, because there's many types of depression. And what I had was a chemical imbalance in my brain. It was from overwork and under rest. And it had caused my tests to drop pretty low. And you just can't control it. You'll literally be sitting there and it's like a light switch goes off. All of a sudden your heart is racing 200 miles an hour and you just feel everything closing in. You have the deepest, darkest thoughts. I had really internal thoughts about my purpose in life and why I'm here. I would question, is my life like a Truman Show? Yeah. Really bizarre thoughts. I would think to myself, I'm in my body and I'm looking at you. Can you see the world like I see the world? Like, do you know what I mean? And then you start to break down the whole workings of the world in your own mind, and you start to question what's the point of everything. You think, well, I'd sit there, and John can attest to this. I was like, I find myself questioning what is the point of everything, because we're going to die anyway. So what are we all doing? And that sounds really extreme, and it sounds like but when your endocrine system isn't functioning properly, and that chemical imbalance is playing havoc with your mental capacity to be able to process things like rationally, there's no way around it. And that's why there's a lot of stigma about seeking help and getting the pills. But you know, I think a lot of the time, sometimes I think, have you ever seen Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey talks about depression being in need of deep rest. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what it is. Most people with depression need a rest. It's like a battle in the brain. You need the rest. You need to just chill. You need to let your body reset. And then, you know, it shows, because I battled through that and then started prep as soon as I finished, once I'd got that deep rest. But if you don't seek that help, or you're unable to get that help from a professional, because as I say, you'll always hear people say, I'm here for you, bruv. I'm here for you. I had all of my best friends around me. They couldn't do shit. Yeah. Because it's not that they're not capable. They can't physically get inside my body and change it. The only way you can do that is to get the rest that you need, and to, it sounds really extreme, but to get the drugs that's going to help you battle through that, you know. And that's what I did. That's what I needed. But
so the rest you're talking about, is it the rest that we all know, like just take a holiday, or you know, choose a place that you can?
Yeah, you'll generally find a thing with most depression is that people find a happy space. Mine was even to the point of like it would be a certain place on the couch. You know, that was my spot. That was my spot where I was content and happy. If you took me out even to the shops, I just couldn't cope. I was constantly thinking about getting back to my happy space.
Okay.
And I think I binge watched about 10 series of Great British Bake Off.
Yeah, it was random.
Just to get me through it. It's so random.
You never watched anything like that, do you? And I'd come round and be like, and he'd just be like, yeah, I'm watching Great British Bake Off, just because he felt comfortable watching that. There was nothing else he wanted to watch.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Because
negative coming into your mind. I couldn't watch a horror film or anything like that, because it's just like, I remember the Joker came out and I really wanted to watch it, and everyone was like, bruv, not the way you are. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, we were going to watch it, innit?
Yeah.
Can I be honest here? Yeah. Do you find that you've changed your taste of music as well?
I've always had quite an eclectic taste of music. I've always been a creative kid from young. I draw, I've played musical instruments, I've drummed, I've sung, I've played guitar. I've always had creativity in my. It's why I think I'm so passionate towards the classic side, because I just love that expressive side of posing that. Bodybuilding for me, like the lifting and that, I think makes me feel better mentally, and it gives me that stimulus. But I've no desire to be a huge freak with like 25-inch arms, and it's always just been for me a way to express myself, much like Bruce Lee did with his martial arts. You know?
Of course. The reason why I'm asking, you know, and I said, like, can I be honest here? It's because I had 2 surgeries last year, and it was proper like knockdowns, you know, proper setbacks. Hernia, then my shoulder, then I had the shoulder was October, and then the following year, which is this year, I caught COVID, and it floored me down completely. And obviously, I find it till this minute hard to cope mentally with the whole, like, why is it happening to me? Why is it every time I'm ready, I get knocked down? You know, what's going on? Yeah. So obviously, I had to go into a breakdown. You know, like my mental health was completely fucked. And I found that even listening to my favorite music became annoying. So like I'd listen to heavy metal and I'll be like, that's actually annoying me right now. It's actually loud, and I wasn't being able to connect with it the way I would as a person who played music as well. I wouldn't, you know, it's very weird.
Because you needed that chill. That's why I say I've got an eclectic taste of music. I listen to classical, country. I'm a really big country fan. But I listen to like soft rock, loud rock, metal, hip hop, anything. If it's good, I like it. Except grime.
Just don't listen to grime.
What, John? Do you listen to like a certain genre that you like, even during training and stuff?
No, not really. I'm pretty much like...
I've never seen you with headphones, ever.
No, I never wear headphones, never. I like listening to the gym.
Yeah.
I'd quite happily train without music, to be honest. I honestly like listening. When me and Sammy train, we just chat and I just have a laugh. You see me when I train. I generally... there's days when you like, you know, where I'm feeling shit and we have to go into a different space to get the job done. But
that pre-workout.
Yeah. But 90% of the time, I'm just in the gym having fun. It's just where I enjoy it to be. I don't need music. But with music, I listen to loads of stuff, man. I don't really have a particular genre. Like I like grime. I like Sammy introduced me to a lot of metal. I don't quite like the heavy metal like used dudes do. I like the, you know, like Creed, Allbridge, you know, things that Sammy have showed me. I love that. I love training to that sort of music. But I listen to loads of stuff, man.
Because there's an interesting fact. Well, we can't really call it a fact. It's a study. It says that listening to music while training, while doing resistance training, weight training, whatever, it takes part of your focus of your muscle-mind connection at a certain percentage.
Takes it away.
It takes it away because these are the things that you cannot control. What your brain, for example, if I put a white sheet in front of you, you're going to see white. You don't control what you see because your eyes work by itself. Basically, it's an inner thing that works. The same thing with music. You don't decide what to hear around you. So you can hear birds, you can hear your dog barking, you can hear the oven going. You know, so it takes a very small percentage of your concentration towards the hearing. So when you're training and listening to music, it takes a part of your muscle-mind connection, if that makes sense.
I'd completely agree with that.
I get that. We used to train in ripped, and I used to fucking hate it in the end. Being with like the music is so loud in there. Great atmosphere, but found it difficult to train with.
Think how many, both of us being working at a gym, and my girlfriend works at a gym, you get how many people come up and complain about music on a constant.
Yeah.
It must have an effect, otherwise so many people wouldn't complain.
I mean, I don't mind any music in the gym as long as it's not like, I know gyms that have DJs, like a DJ night, where it's so loud and it's playing drum and bass and it's...
My gym does it, but I don't really. It's not saying
it's not because, I mean, I can tolerate it for like a certain day or two, but sometimes I like to be I'm in a different mood every time I'm training. I don't have one mood, and there are times when I don't want to hear it, you know.
Yeah.
And it does put me off training completely. I just want to finish my sets and go home.
Yeah.
But that's why we like coming up to St Albans, isn't it? Up your way. It's a much more chilled environment. It's more of a environment where you can just really just focus on bodybuilding itself. Yeah, the job. Like, just get involved in what you're doing, you know?
Yeah,
Talk about, like, just really get involved in it. That's why we love going up there.
Yeah.
So the question here is, Sammy, what's next for you after, you know, having the situation with the mental health, and then coming into prep, and then now corona, you know, the quarantine, and now what's next for you?
Well, I'm just going to enjoy the time. I mean, I live right next to some stables and shit, so I'm really enjoying just having barbecues outside in the wild and just playing my guitar a lot. I started drawing again. I don't know if I'm working on something.
You don't train, do you?
Yeah, I've been training. Working on this at the moment. Don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, you'll see that on the gram. It looks sick, man.
This is some cool shit, man.
Oh mate, I took art and animation. I got a diploma in art and animation. Went to like Open University for it. So that was something I loved doing when I was younger. But yeah, I'm just enjoying.
You're gonna hit up LA, aren't you? After this,
just life. Yeah, me and the missus gonna go and check out LA, because obviously that is the future. We're gonna go and live there eventually. That's the plan. But this will just be a holiday, and yeah, and then just get back on that grind and pick a show when they've got some. But I mean, everyone has got their own way of handling things. I know some people literally just want to jump straight into a show. But me personally, I'm in no rush. The goal ain't to get a pro card or that. It's just to experience it. So
exactly. Because you've been training for years and you never thought of a show. And when you thought of a show.
But like something always keeps going up. Because the first time I prepped for a show, I was actually doing a natural show, because I was natural for most of my bodybuilding. I sort of had a brief stint right at the very start where everyone sort of experiments and gets into shit, but I never really done anything proper. And then I was natural for a long time until I worked at Ripped about 4 years ago. And then, but even then, I don't do huge quantities of anything. And yeah, I was prepping for a natural show, and I came off my motorbike at about 150 miles an hour.
Oh, man.
We've
all had these stories, huh?
Yeah.
We've all had like 6
in the back of the ambulance, because I looked.
Nothing bad happened to me, really. Don't think.
So yeah, I was prepping before, and a lot of people don't know as well. Luke was prepping me as well for a little while.
Oh, right. Because the way how I met Luke, you know, speaking about Luke, how I met Luke was that one of my athletes went over to get prepped by Guy Cisternino in the beginning, and I don't know what happened. Like, I don't think anything happened. He just left him, and he went with Luke after. And I knew more about Luke through that guy, because we've become obviously really good friends. And then Luke and I met and became a friendship sort of thing. But John, for you, I mean, this is Sammy's plans for after quarantine. What do you have?
I'm competing, man. Hopefully, I want to do Korea, innit? I think everyone knows that. I want to do South Korea, but flights will dictate that, man. We'll see what happens.
That's what I mean. I'm looking into everything. I mean, there are flights now to Europe, but I'm in no shape or form mentally and physically to think of a show, but I could travel with you maybe.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll just see what happens. I can flip the switch, you know, pretty quick when I want, you know, to do a prep, or if I'm not prepping, whatever. It doesn't ever affect me that much mentally, you know. As long as I'm training and I'm eating, it's the same every day anyway. I spoke to James about it. He was like, look, at the end of the day, train hard, eat your meals, and that's the life of a bodybuilder. If you can compete, we compete.
Exactly.
No, we don't. I'm always training to be the best I can be, and that's it.
It's person specific always. Bodybuilding always is because everyone responds different.
Yeah,
of course.
Like Johnny is the person that could effectively be like a Kevin Levrone and do fuck all for months. He doesn't need to train, doesn't need to eat, and then he just pushes it as soon as he's got that show date. So he could do that, but you know, a lot of guys, they can't do that because they start to lose muscle.
That's why my weight never changes, isn't it? I can tell you so many people on Instagram ask me how do you grow into a show, or how do I, you know, I never put or do I just not post the pictures where I'm fat, etc. And it's like, no, I'm not. It's like quite often after a show, Sammy, see it multiple times, I get small. I just don't. I don't know whether it's, I know in the back of my head that I don't feel like I need to be pushing so hard all the time. Sometimes I think people are pushing, but in my head, I don't think you can beat the clock, you know? Like,
I used to be like that. After a show, I'd go back and train and kill myself and rebound.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't feel like I need to. And I don't get pressured into the fact, you know, well, these guys are doing it. And I'm like, I don't care. That's just me. I chill out. Like I said, I took 6 weeks off after the British. And then I just slowly get back into it. You know, I don't have any aspirations of being a mass monster, being, you know, 250 pounds on stage. I never, ever did. That's why I never competed earlier, because I loved bodybuilding with my heart. It was my passion, but I thought, but if I'm going to do it and I want to be the best at it, I've got to be 250 pounds or bigger, and I don't want to be that. So it ended up being one of the things that it was my passion. I loved it, but I was never going to pursue it because I never wanted to be that, you know. I loved the classic guys. I loved Arnie. I was always in the mindset. I was like, oh man, if only bodybuilding could just go back to that, then I would be a bodybuilder. You know,
of course.
When it came to 2016, and I met Luke and I met Sam and everything like that, and you know, I got introduced to classic bodybuilding, and that was me. You know, so
this raises a good question.
Huge, so
this is going to raise a huge question here after this. You know, me asking you what's next for you guys, but because the Olympia has been announced, and obviously changed to a different venue, into the Las Vegas Strip. And what I find which is really weird, is that the Olympia committee knows that most people don't have, the gyms are not open. Let's not talk about who has access to gyms and not, you know, the people who don't. We know that gyms are shut down. Everyone's shut. How do they expect those guys like yourself to be on stage on the Olympia at the same standard? Isn't that going to bring the standard down?
Yeah,
I think
possibly.
care about tickets and shit though.
What's that?
It's all really a business though, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a business, it's a brand. They have to continue on if they can. That's it. It's the standard.
It's a shame, to be honest with you, because if this was Joe Weider back then, he would have done something completely different, because he's passionate about bodybuilding, about the fitness industry. And
maybe, well, at the end of the day, it's a pandemic, you know. Like,
yeah, I know, but you know, sometimes when you think about money, when you think about money, and then you think about your passion, your way of thinking is different. You know, like when you're money driven and you're passionate about doing something, the way you think is completely different. And I think, like the Olympia would have probably been a day before Christmas for people to enjoy themselves, but then yet Joe Weider would have done something to have an outdoor gym, and you know, I can see him doing that because he's passionate about it. But the ones who want to make money, no, the venue's right there. Go sort yourself out. You're gonna come. You're gonna sell some tickets.
They don't really care if someone comes like at their 100% best, as long as it's like Kai Green. If you got the guys at the Olympia that are running it currently, well, I can't say currently, but of previous, because obviously it's been rebought. I'm pretty sure
it's sold now.
Yeah, but the guys before that, currently, I'm sure if you said to them, "We can get you Kai Green next year," he's not going to be 100%, but he'll show up. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, cool," because it's a money machine. You know, they don't really care.
I think natural bodybuilding is the future.
What did you think when they turned around and said about?
Sorry.
What did you think when they said bodybuilders coming on with a mask and gloves in the coronavirus on stage with masks and gloves? That was going to be a thing
Really?
a little while ago. Yeah, because they were so desperate to put shows on, they were going to start having bodybuilding shows where the competitors are on stage with masks and
It's
gloves.
because some people still want to compete, isn't it?
I don't think it is. I think it's because some fucking.
Well, they are though, because people would turn up. People
Yeah,
would.
but you have to think about it that way, that the Arnold Classic happened during the pandemic almost.
Yeah.
It wasn't complete lockdown, but it was right at the beginning. And I've heard a rumor, which is probably about 75% true, that Cedric McMillan had COVID.
Maybe.
Post the Arnold Classic, from seeing a lot of people in the expo. Saying hello in the meet and greet us and something like that.
Yeah. I think I had it.
There was no expo, sorry.
Yeah.
But he was saying hello to people and everything, and I heard that after the show he had it quite bad. Like he went through, man flu multiplied by 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, John was really bad.
I was rough, mate. It
That
was
really
about.
I've never seen him like it.
No, it was shit, and it was about a couple of weeks before it all started surfacing and becoming really like. It was in the media when I was ill, but it wasn't really like fucking in everybody's face.
Yeah.
It was fuck. I was like, man, I haven't been this ill since I could ever remember, and and then when this all came about, COVID, I was like, that's probably what I had. I was really, what was you going to say about natural bodybuilding anyway? You said you had a topic to talk about.
Well, the thing is,
natural.
It's the future. I was like, yeah, no.
I know. This was a complete.
Well, you natural bodybuilder?
Yeah, I think natural bodybuilding for not for us, for the old school guys is probably just like having a vegan around. It became more of a joke, but natural bodybuilding is still bodybuilding for me. It doesn't matter. The muscle tissue you have is your muscle tissue. It doesn't matter what you do. The hard work is the hard work.
I've seen some sick natural bodybuilders.
But then speaking of natural, what do you think of this statement that George Farah made, that Kai Green turned pro natural?
I believe it.
You believe him, huh?
I believe that.
Yeah.
And Dana Lynn Bailey hasn't taken anything until this day.
Who?
Dana Lynn Bailey, the Miss Olympia.
Miss
Olympia. Miss Olympia, women's physique.
She was like, she looked amazing. You don't remember Dana Lynn Bailey? Everyone used to say that Ben Chow looked like her husband, Rob.
Rob Bailey. He's an artist, and
Luke used to call Ben the fake Rob Bailey.
I don't know. I could believe it. Is she? And I'm not being racist. Is she black?
No.
Oh no. Because I believe it. They're black. Black people have.
Ring.
Yeah.
You don't remember her?
No. Black people have mad genetic predispositions to grow, don't they? They just do.
Yeah.
I can believe. Ronnie turning pro. They said that about Ronnie turning pro natural. Yeah. I believe it. I've seen pictures where they said he was natural and he looked crazy. I believe he was natural. I won my first 2 shows natural. People didn't think I was natural. I don't know why, because I was still a skinny bitch, but people didn't believe me. There's certain compounds that I haven't touched yet that, you'd think I have, but I haven't. And people don't believe it. So
that's like when that Brandon Harding video come out where he was crying about all of the shit he was taking.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even a pro, and John was not even taking a fraction of what Brandon Harding.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, he looks fucking good now. Like, I've seen him. But I was like, fuck me, if I jump on a few things.
If you was on what Brandon was on.
Yeah, I know. Fucking hell. I'll be an animal.
This is the thing that I wanted to speak about. It was that, I don't know if you've seen this situation before where, a lineup of like 5, and one guy takes 4th place or 3rd, for example, and then he comes out and his friends come out to him like, well done, man. Come on, don't forget you're natural. They're enhanced. It actually bothers me in a way. Like, why tell him that? You know, that's going to make him kind of feel either I'm going to have to be on something to grow or these guys are cheating. You know, it's going to put him in that position where it's weird. You know, I find it very weird. And I don't know what you guys think.
Mate, you should be your own choice, isn't it? Like it's a thing that you just progress into, isn't it? I just progressed into that way because I wanted to be the best. You know,
yeah,
I was never influenced by anybody saying that I was going up against guys who weren't natural, because I was. My first 2 shows, no, just my first show.
Yeah, I was pretty happy to stay natural. I was hanging with people and looking better than a lot of people in my gyms that was on shit naturally. But I think mine's just, you know, I'm 35, and you do get to a point where you hit that natural plateau. So just to keep fullness and look good and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But when we talk about, like, it's not like I'm on copious amounts of shit at all. I'm like, and I don't here and no.
I'm not stirring any shit here, but you see sometimes a natural guy walks into the gym with his, you know, wearing a t-shirt saying all natural.
Oh, all natural.
You know, and then you see a guy from the corner who's also natural, and he just looks at him from far away and it's like, I'm watching you.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. Like, we're buddies, you know, like we're the natural guys. We're the vegans of the the gym. And for me, it's funny. I'm just making fun of this right now, but there is this thing. It's like, I'm being prepped by a natural coach because I'm natural. Like, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you here. No one gives a shit if you're natural or not.
It's like
it's something to do with you. Yeah.
Thing is, I've had so many guys say things like that. It's like, oh yeah, so and so is good, but you know, he looks good because he's enhanced, or he looks like, you know, he's natural, shit like that. But I have guys saying stuff like that, and I was like, man, I look better than you when I was natural anyway. Like, don't know why people are.
You're genetically gifted, and we're talking about the normal. You know, I've seen guys who take a lot and still look like shit.
Look like shit, yeah.
You know, and
I just think it's training. I spoke to someone about this the other day, one of my clients, and you know what? Most of the things that I see in bodybuilding, you know, people not being able to grow and just having, I don't know, shit physiques. It always just comes down to training, man. They always just train like dog shit. People don't know how to train nowadays. People do not know, categorically, do not know how to train nowadays. There's too much information out there. Like, this is one of our things about, we done a push-pull legs video, you know, and if you go back, I don't know if you've been back to me, but if you looked at the comments, loads of people were against it. Loads of people against it, that they love push-pull legs. And I was thinking, like, one of the things that we didn't actually say is why I don't think push-pull legs is just the one for a lot of up-and-comers now, is because they, you know, I understand that more frequency, you know, as a beginner or as a younger guy is going to aid them growing. I get that. But there's something to be said about mind to muscle connection, and you can't learn how to really train a muscle intensely when you're not doing like the same amount of volume, you know?
How can you attain mind muscle connection when your highest rep is 6?
Yeah.
I just been warmed up at 6.
Yeah, I just think there needs to be. I understand push-pull legs, and no doubt that you can grow from it. No doubt that you can grow from it, and that it might be a great plan for some people. But I think it needs to get scaled back a little bit. For everybody's on it too much, and they just preach it like up and up.
I have to do it now because I have access to a gym 3 times a week.
Yeah. Like, I get it.
I have to do it.
If I had access to a gym 3 times a week, I'd do the same thing. I mean, let's have it right. I'll tell you why I don't like it either. I thought about this the other day, and I haven't brought this point up. Is that it's not really fucking any different to anything, is it? All it is chest and triceps with a bit of delts, and there's back and biceps, and there's legs. You know, we've been doing chest and triceps, back and biceps, leg day since when I was 17, and I knew nothing. So it's all the fucking same, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I can see what you're saying.
One of the comments on our video about push-pull legs said, "Oh, I thought this was going to be an interesting video, and then I realised, like, I knew it's just saying that I already knew when I was 15." And I was like, "Motherfucker, you've not even."
You guys aren't men or something.
It's like an anonymous fucking picture. It's like, I bet you look like shit.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't got your picture on there. Let's see how good your push-pull legs has made you look.
Yeah.
And
9
times out of 10, like, there is the exception. You know, people always look good doing if they've got the genetics for it.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, all these guys that come in with a fucking logbook doing push-pull legs, walk out the gym looking exactly the same as they did when they fucking started 2 or 3 years before, because they're so used to just checking numbers.
They're just worried about numbers. Yeah. Like JP the other day, I understand JP's an incredible coach. I understand that he's an extremely knowledgeable dude, and I wouldn't like to have a debate with him about much, maybe posing. But let's have it right. Like, you can't say that he doesn't. He's more about strength training than bodybuilding, the way I see. Maybe it's just the videos he posts. He probably doesn't post the videos where he's doing the high rep stuff. Maybe I get that. But all I see is, like, he done a post the other day. It was like an 8-plate chest press, and he done 1 rep because he couldn't get the second rep. He done 1.5 rep. And I was like, all right, I granted he probably done a lot more volume in that session, but that's not portraying bodybuilding, because now you've got guys going into the gyms trying to fucking stick 4 or 5 plates on a chest press, or, you know, do X amount of weight on squats or deadlifts or whatever, and they're just wasting their time, absolutely wasting their time.
I can agree to a point. Yeah.
If you haven't got a body that can move that sort of weight, then don't fucking do it.
Yeah. Not everybody can move that sort of weight.
No, it's like I was saying earlier. JP is predispositioned to be a mass monster, as was Luke.
Strong.
And James Hollins.
Exactly.
They've got big fucking, they've got hands like giants. If that ain't you, if you're that guy that's like small boned and small framed, stop trying to overfeed your body, because you're just going to get fat, and stop trying to press more weight than you're really designed to move.
Yeah.
Some people just have to. I see a lot of guys that are just not cut out.
You need to find your own way.
You know, you need to work.
Yeah, you need.
I need to mention something. There's a guy that I don't know personally. I just see most of his posts on Instagram. Obviously, I don't want to bring any names up or anything, but obviously he's a young boy, and the guy is strong as like a gorilla. The guy is a proper, silverback, unbelievable strength. His progress pictures are phenomenal. Not a very pleasant physique. My issue with this boy is that he is full of acne from head to toe. And when I mean acne, it's not today's acne. It's today with some previous holes in his body. It looks like a hive.
I've seen
His chest looks like a hive, like a beehive, with holes everywhere. And obviously for you to get to that level of strength at that age, not only that you need to train, more consistently and eat a lot, but there's a lot of, enhancement. There's a lot of chemical enhancement in the body that has been introduced for this young boy. Obviously, the acne is the aftermath. It's the result of how much he's taking for him to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think not only, and his joints are shielded, obviously, because he's on a lot of gear. Okay, I'm gonna spill it out, and he doesn't realize that this is where you start to think of people like, sorry for saying that, guys, people like Dallas, that didn't have a limit. There's a mindset that I don't agree with, which is the whatever it takes.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Time out, guys. What do you mean whatever it takes? No, it's not whatever it takes. It's whatever your mind can take you realistically. Realistically, be realistic, guys. It's not about that, and this is what's happening.
Yeah, Sammy preaches it all the time. There is too big.
Mm.
There is a
Should
thing.
be 25 years old and 300 pounds.
You know, this guy, I feel like sometimes messaging him, telling him like, just be careful. But at the same time, I cannot be the GP, you know, when you go to your GP and you train, tell them I train 6 days a week. Oh, no, you're not allowed. You have to do 4. Like, who said that? You know, I don't want to be the GP, if that makes sense. You know, like you tell your GP, I need a blood test. Do you take any enhancements? Yes, I do. Oh my God. Like, yeah, but I take very minimal. I'm not a meathead. You know, I've still got my hair. I've still got, you know, I look good.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to be the older guy on social media to turn out to kids like, be careful, don't do that. Be careful, don't do that. So I think this podcast has actually made us, you know, a huge favor, because we can actually speak out, and whoever's listening to this could actually benefit from at least a little bit, you know?
Yeah. And as well, I'm 35, and there's a lot of guys on a lot of enhancements that don't look like me at 35. They look like they're 55. Like you've got to think as well. Like bodybuilding is a very short
worth
life.
it.
Your life is the long game.
Yeah, of course.
You know, prioritize your life and your health and your mental well-being. You know, over just chasing size.
And what you'll realize, I've come across it, is that when you listen to a lot of the top pros talk about their life, talk about like their backstories, like Kev Levrone, you know, walked into the gym one day and he was like, oh man, I just realized I was pretty good at this, you know, and then he ended up doing a show, you know, naturally ended up winning, and then he was like, oh man, I should see where this goes, because I've got some potential here. Ronnie Coleman, you know, he was never a bodybuilder, just walked in the gym, dude was like, you got potential, and he was like, oh, all right, I'll try it out just for the gym membership, then realized he was pretty good. Flex Wheeler was doing martial arts at the same time as doing a bit of bodybuilding, realized at a young age that he could probably go far with this. Kai Green was the same. Loads of them. All the best guys. They talk about Luke, you know, how he just had a predisposition to grow. I've seen him when he was 20. He's jacked. Some guys are just built for this. Some people are built for it. Like, I realized I could probably do pretty well in the classic division. If I look at, you know, the classic division where that standard is at, I think I could get there. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to take a shot at it, and you know, and then if you have to introduce, you know, certain protocols and stuff to get you there, you're going to, because you know you've got a chance. But some guys are just thinking, you know, they haven't even given it a try yet. They haven't even dipped their fucking toe into the pool yet, and they're just like, I want to be a bodybuilder, I want to be a pro, and they just start putting this fucking gear into them. They don't even know if they got the potential to.
Yeah, there's a sad story coming after this, you know.
It's like, I'm not going to be an NBA player, you know.
Yeah.
Not everybody's built for that.
True.
So you have to. Yeah,
I thought I was when I was younger, but
yeah, you can push, like have a go at things, you know, see where you can go with it. Let's talk about bodybuilding. You need to give it a go before you start taking it further with, you know, with drugs and stuff like that, basically.
100%.
Because otherwise you're just setting yourself up to be really fucked up.
Guys, it's been amazing having both of you here. Shame that we're not sitting in the gym this time. And hopefully the next one of our next episodes would be another one training an upper body, no legs. And thank you very much, Sammy, for being here and for sharing your experiences. I really appreciate it. Actually, I learned a lot from you today. You know, it's awesome. Yeah. And my regards to your lady,
Samwise Ganji.
Yeah, and thank you, John, as usual, for always topping up what I have to say.
Also, I just realised that I'm wearing this. Don't think that, like, why is he wearing a wrist wrap?
I know why.
Why?
Because you don't want the strings to.
No. It's basically a couple of years ago I had this really dumb idea to start doing calisthenics, and I'm just too big for it. I end up doing a handstand, and I've damaged the triangular fibrocluster complex, which is between your ulna and all of your bones in your hand. So yeah, and it keeps recurring. I actually got rid of it, but it's like it just crept back the other day.
So now you can use your left for jerking off.
I don't need to jerk off, man. I've got a woman.
Yes, you do. You must jerk off. You ever sit on your right hand and use your left so it feels like somebody else?
I've never ever done.
It's a lie. Doesn't work.
I can't. That's what I was like, that's gonna be shit.
It's well hard because with your right hand you get a rhythm, right? When you go left, you're like, you can't get a rhythm. You know, you grip it too hard. You're like, it don't work. It don't work.
Holding a dildo.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Come back here. Guys, we need to wrap it up. Thank you very much for everything. Guys, whoever is watching, please subscribe. Put your comments down there. Follow us. And guys, we're normal people. We want to get everyone involved. We finally managed to find a name for the podcast. So, guys, more suggestions.
Raw shit.
Raw shit.
Oh, I've got something way better than that.
Tell us. We'll rename it.
Call it the Classic Chat.
But we're not. Is it a classic chat though?
I don't know. It's a good catchy name. It is kind of classic. It's all things bodybuilding, but it's
all things bodybuilding, isn't it?
You are classic dudes, both of you.
Yeah, but we're gonna have bigger guys on the show one day.
Yeah.
Well, they can just talk about real bodybuilding like that. If you come on.
The chat show.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much here again, and we'll catch up next week.
Cool, man. See you later.
Peace out.
Peace.
Take it, man.